Hi, I'm Ari Engel, and today I'm going to be talking about split pot games as a whole. So the most famous split pot game is Omaha High-Low, but there's Stud High-Low, and then there's a bunch of less common ones. And this is a principle when it comes to split pot games, um, which is a lot of us, like we come from Hold'em, we look down at like aces or ace king, and the flop comes a certain way, and we're like, okay, great. We focus more naturally on the high hand. And then maybe when we get to the second level, we like think, okay, we have ace deuce and it's a high low, and so we have a good low draw. Um, People are not taking into account often enough the nature of these split pot games, which is like if you really only have a shot at one side of the board, whether this is stud high low or Omaha high low, um, your the max you're going to be getting is half the pot. And so like let's say you're trying to draw to a hand where if you hit like let's say you have a flush draw and there's already low cards out there. If you hit the flush draw, you're only going to be getting half the pot. So it really changes the dynamics of the way you should look at pot odds, and even changes the kind of hands you want to play to begin with. The most ideal situations are when you can have a strong hand one way and then still have at least some shot the other way. And this is something that has become very common even among non-mixed game players, because people play bomb pots a lot, and a lot of them are double board bomb pots. And so there's this natural in a double board game, half the pot goes to the winner of one board and half the pot goes to the winner of the other board. And as it turns out, sometimes you can have the nuts on one board, but the fact that you're capped to only winning one board and you have no shot at the other board, your hand really isn't that strong. If you have the nut flush draw on one board and you have no shot at winning the other one, given that there's so many people seeing these flops because it's a bomb pot, so everyone sees the flop. Like if the board pairs on your nut flush draw, you're dead. Like someone's gonna almost for sure have a full house, and since you had no shot at the other, your hand is really not very strong at all. Um, so this is a very common to mixed game world, where maybe a lot of the people, the viewers or the watchers of this, they won't be as used to this idea. In No Limit, when you have the nuts, you have the nuts, and you should feel pretty damn strong about it. But in mixed games, you have these other considerations in any version of a split pot, and I thought it was pretty relevant because now with the proliferation of split pot games, even in a regular No Limit cash game, this is something that a lot of people could probably use at least thinking about. And in each game, it will have its own variation of how to apply it, but it's the overall principle applies to a lot of different games.